So if I'm hearing this correctly, when you have teacher care that goes beyond not having the care, they're able to, you're saying that that's able to kind of personalize in a way that wouldn't be even possible if there was no care in place.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Part of that care is fostered by understanding what the teacher is, who the teacher is.
The backstory.
Yeah. And their teacher's even a person, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah, that's interesting.
A lot of times I hear my friends say, oh, it's my teacher. And they don't fully realize that the teacher is a person too. And I think that's very important for a student especially, because if you think of the teacher as a robot, there's a certain kind of respect that comes, but you don't get the respect that you would treat your parent with, right? You don't get the same respect that I appreciate what you do for me. It's more of just, oh, you're a teacher, your job is to teach me stuff, right? Yeah. It's more of a, wow, you're actually taking time to teach me. I appreciate that, right? And you don't get that respect unless you recognize the teacher as a person. And that's part of what the backstory does too.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So let's say you put on a new tech shirt and go out in the community. Are there any misconceptions?
I would like to say no.
Okay.
But I would be lying if I did.
All right.
So I'm going to say yes. And new tech, it was hard for me to come here partially. My parents were wanting me to come here, but me coming here, I was initially worried, like, all my friends are going to CHS, what if they think I'm weird, right? And there are misconceptions I know at the high school that, oh, you go to New Tech, you're not, like, your New Tech is separate from the high school. Which, I mean, is kind of a nice thing, but then you think about it as, we participate in all their sports, we don't have our own sports team, we don't have our own debate team, right? And so a lot of things we do, we have to kind of work with other CHS students, and if we're set off as outcasts, we'll never really get to work together. And so, yes, there are misconceptions. New Tech is weird. New Tech doesn't teach you anything is another misconception. I think that New Tech teaches you stuff. It might not teach you stuff in the same direct way that CHS teaches you stuff, which can make some people feel like, yes, New Tech isn't teaching me. But I think the key is you have to take that extra step, the student, to learn the material better on your own.
I see.
Otherwise, CHS will definitely outpace you.
Yeah.
And then the last misconception I would say is New Tech is a place that's, like, full of weirdos. And I'm not going to disagree with that. New Tech is not full of weirdos so much as it's full of people that accept their differences.
Right on.
At CHS, a lot of times, and at traditional high schools, you're taught to hide your differences. You're taught to fit in, right? And at New Tech, really, we thrive on the fact that we're all different, that we all bring our own thing. And someone may say, oh, like, I have ADHD, and for them, they view it as a problem. But at New Tech, we would go and we'd be like, why is that a problem? It just helps you maybe stay more alert, right? And we take every problem and make it a positive. And maybe you pair someone with ADHD with someone that has OCD. That way, they learn to work together. They learn that, oh, there is importance in going fast, but there is also importance in being organized and doing it well, right? And so you kind of take each other's differences and take each other's weaknesses and stack your strengths upon them so that everyone becomes better. And, I mean, it's the same as in a family with a child that's autistic or has a disability. A lot of other people might be like, oh, that person's weird, right, from the outside. But if you're on the inside, you look at that person and your brother or your sister and you say, they're of my same blood. They happen to turn out a little different. They're not the same as me. But I care about them and they care about me, so I'm going to do everything I can to help them succeed.
Yeah.
And that's the spirit we have here at New Tech, which is it doesn't matter what I believe, it doesn't matter what someone else believes. It's we're going to work together and somehow we're going to get to the top.
When is school the best?
Meaning in each day or like among the year? Or?
For you. I mean, answer it in kind of, what comes to mind when you're thinking about that concept.
So, for me, like I said, I love learning. So I live and die for those aha moments when a teacher is teaching and I'll be like, oh my goodness, the last 3 weeks I've kind of been sitting there numb-minded, not quite understanding what you're saying, and all of a sudden it's clicking, right? All of a sudden everything's making sense. And that for me is the most important time just in general. Personally, between the 13 years of schooling that you get in Coppell ISD, in my opinion, the most important is middle school, because that's when you really decide who you are, right? In elementary school, you're figuring out, oh, this is school, right? These are people. There are other children my age besides my friends, right? And then in high school, you've already kind of developed into that mindset of college, gonna get to college, right? Gonna do well in college, this is what I want my career to be. I need to take all these classes, and you're thinking about school. In middle school, you really get a chance to connect with the people. You're not worried about college. You kind of have, hopefully at that point, figured out that it's school, right? You're in school and there are other people there. So you really at that time reaching out socially and mentally, right? So socially, you're learning about new people. You're like, do I want to be like that? Do I not want to be like that? Do I want to be friends with someone like that or not? And it's, at least, especially for me, that's when I really started to branch out. That's when I decided that I wasn't going to... But by the time I got into 6th grade, I was pretty much defined as an outcast. I was very much the one person that would never have anyone to sit with at lunch. And I decided halfway through 6th grade I wasn't going to let that be me. And so in elementary school in 5th grade, I had a group of friends, and we did role-playing games together during recess. And I figured, so I would go home oftentimes, and I'd be like, I don't have any friends at school, right? I don't want to go to school anymore, almost. And that was, like, bad during middle school. And my parents were like, whoa, okay, no, we're going to find a solution to this. And so I sat down with my mom and dad, and they were like, okay, so you don't have to just join a friend group, because at that time they were very specific and set, like who was what and what was what. And like there were multiple groups that I fit into, but I didn't want to be one completely, and I didn't want to transform my entire identity to fit that one stereotype. And so my parents helped me develop the idea that I can go back to people that I knew in 5th grade that had, I don't know, not necessarily been my friends, but I kind of knew them. And so in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I got together with those people. We sat down during lunch, and we started the same role-playing games again. And it really helped me become who I am today, and because of that, my best friend is the dungeon master of those role-playing games.
Yes.
So,
one of our coworkers actually does that in a bar.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so my best friend, and he came to New Tech, and we decided that we were coming to New Tech together, and it really helped because those moments in middle school where you're vulnerable, where you're not quite sure what you're going to do next, and then you make a decision, really helps define what's going to come next in high school and further forward.
Right on. What about on the flip side of that? When do you think school is the worst? It's usually true about that.
Well, I'm going to say this partially because of where I am right now and just in a general situation I'm in at school.
Okay.
I'm not going to describe it in detail, but the school is the worst when oftentimes you want something from a teacher and the teacher says no. Or you're not learning anything and you're trying and it's almost like you're stuck in the mud and you just keep spinning your wheels and you're not really going anywhere. And those times when you just feel like, why do I do this? Why do I keep working? And it's important at those times to have the family atmosphere, to have those people around you that can say, hey, you're here because you learn, right? Right now it may be, you may feel like you're not going anywhere, but trust me, everything is for a higher purpose. And this is where it comes in